Hey everybody, it's me, Brian, coming at you from house arrest. So this week on house arrest, I just wanted to do kind of a check-in, what do you call it, housekeeping video, just to kind of check in and tell you where I'm at, what's going on. Not much is going on, obviously. I'm still stuck here, but yeah, it's getting. I'm getting into this thing. I've been on this thing for about over a year now. I've got a little less than a year left until the ankle monitor comes off. And so I'm kind of in the middle of this house arrest period. And yeah, I'm getting through it. One of the things that's kind of been occurring to me lately and getting to me a little bit lately is that I'm not very good at admitting to myself when I'm like having a hard time. And I'm not really having a hard time, I guess. But I'm just it's kind of wearing on me. The whole thing is wearing on me, and I'm just it's been challenging to be so stuck. It's interesting because like I have all of these ambitions now that I'm off drugs, right? And I'm way clear of them more than I have ever been before in my life. I just find myself wanting to do all these things and to engage in my life in all of these ways. And I'm in this period of time where I really can't do much of that stuff, right? So as I've been talking about on this channel, I've been making the best of it, and I've been doing what I can, making these videos. This has been cool, a cool way to kind of interact with family and friends or whoever is watching this. Just kind of a way for me to talk about what I'm thinking about and what I've gone through and what I've been going through. So I'm taking this period as sort of a period of becoming disciplined in a way that I've never been disciplined before in my life. I'm trying to dial in just my day-to-day discipline, right? And that is, I've had a lot of success with it so far, and there's obviously a lot of fluctuation. I commit to something for a little bit, and then I get distracted and I get on something else, and then I beat myself up about it, right? I'm hard on myself. But what I have to remember is that I've come a long way just psychologically and spiritually from, before when I was just on drugs all the time, before, most of my life where I was on drugs most of my adult life, really. And this clarity it's just interesting to come out into this clarity and be in this situation, finally be in this clarity and then be in this situation. But it's okay. I'm okay. I'm doing okay. So there's days where I get pretty low and just frustrated, and there's sometimes I find myself certain days like festering in sort of resentment and just frustration about the whole situation, but and as far as my feeling of guilt goes for the crimes I was committed of, I haven't really talked much about like what I was doing really, and it wasn't like good or anything, but I don't really have anything that I really deeply feel that I like am remorseful of. I don't feel like I hurt anybody. I didn't really do anything to hurt anybody. And that's, that could sound crazy to you if you know that I was convicted of selling drugs, right? But the reality of that situation, the reality of the selling drug situation isn't one of like, it wasn't a situation where I was, taking advantage of people and, by selling them drugs. It was really just me finding drugs selling them as a way to support my habit. And I wasn't really making any money or anything. I was just getting drugs so that I could support my habit and then selling them to the people around me that were already doing drugs with me, really. So, it wasn't like I was this big drug dealer or anything where I was really like shysting people or anything. I don't feel like I really screwed anybody or I did anything wrong to anybody, besides, I guess, the act of, sharing the drugs that I had and that I was addicted to and that they were addicted to. I wasn't like getting anybody addicted to drugs. I guess you could say that that's sort of like a denial of responsibility or something, but I mean, and I've thought about that a lot because I'm like, should I be thinking about how I did something wrong? It's definitely a problem. Like being on drugs and being addicted to drugs isn't a good thing to be, and it's definitely not a safe thing to be doing. I was using the hardest drugs the hardest ways, right? But I was like in a community of people who were doing it too and doing it before I was doing it and are continuing to do it after I was gone. And it's just not, it was just, I was in the community of people that was doing that. And I was, when you're searching for your next fix, it's actually like not helpful to be desperate to find it in any way that you can, right? And I was in that situation for a short amount of time where I was like desperately looking for who I could get it from, and I would take anything that I could get. I would take anything that I could come across from whoever had it. And it was like when you're that desperate for it, the concern for where it's coming from and who's selling it to you and what it actually even is that you're getting is pretty low. And so that makes it pretty dangerous to be doing this stuff. So what I did to get myself out of that situation was I found a source of safer drugs. Like it was a consistent quality of these terrible drugs, right? It was the quality was consistent, and I knew what it was, and I was getting it from a consistent, reliable place. So it wasn't like you're just fishing for whatever. And when people are desperate, they're fishing for whatever they can get. They'll get whatever they can, and that's really dangerous. It's not. I'm not saying it's not dangerous to be using it in the first place. Of course it is. Of course it is. But it's just the when you have to get it from anywhere you can, it can be more dangerous and much more immediately dangerous. So I just found a source of it that was good, and I just got enough of it so that I could have it, and I needed to be able to get more of it so that I could support my habit. And so I just started selling it to the people around me, and they were actually very relieved to have a good source of it as well. First, coming from somebody who wasn't trying to screw them, who wasn't like charging crazy amounts for it, like was actually charging as little as possible as I could to just to continue what I was doing. And so that's really what ended up happening. So I'm not saying that I was doing a good thing or anything like that, but I just, all of that is just to say that like I don't have any victims in my crime. Technically, it's technically a victimless crime that I had. It was basically just having drugs and then having like the safest source of drugs that I could find, and then sharing that with the people around me, and charging as little as I could to continue doing that. That's kind of where I was at with it. So I didn't have a bunch of money piled up when I got arrested. I was pretty much broke. I was actually in debt with a lot of debts and stuff loans I had taken out and stuff. So anyway, I guess all that's just to say that, so I'm here, and that breeds a lot of frustration for me in just the sense of just like, I feel like, I never intended to harm anybody. I don't feel like I ever really did harm anybody. I was stuck in that mess with other people who are stuck in that mess. And I'm at peace with myself for this. So I guess that's when I get frustrated. Like, this feels ridiculous to me. And it gets hard that it's so long, I mean, I guess I actually could consider myself lucky that it's only as long as it was, because the heater just came on. So hold on, I'm gonna get that heater off. All right, and I just didn't want the heater to mess up the sound. So anyway, I'm interested in how this sounds from an outside perspective, you know, because maybe I'm crazy, maybe I do deserve to be locked up, maybe I do deserve to be like society to be protected from me, you know, which is essentially what this is supposed to be. Or like, I guess it's more of just a punishment, because there's really nothing that is happening that like is protecting society from me if I actually meant anybody any harm. You know, none of that is actually covered in any of this, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me in the first place. It's really just kind of like a punishment for the sake of it, because the law is that you can't do what I did, right? So, you know, and it frustrates me sometimes to think that, you know, if I was in a different state, it would have been a completely different sentence. Probably wouldn't have even gone to prison if it was in California, you know, it's like my first offense and stuff. But, you know, to look at that from another perspective, if it was a little bit, you know, if I did this quite a few years ago, when the drug laws were different or more harsh, or, you know, what, blah, 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 I could have been in for a lot longer. So I guess I could consider myself lucky in that case. But I just don't feel any like moral guilt for what I did, you know, other than just like to myself, really, right? So, or I guess, you know, to my family too, because I put them through a lot. I feel bad about the people I hurt, you know, that I scared and that were worried about me, who love me. That's you know, something that I consider, and that's something that I do, you know, feel remorse for. But as far as like legally or whatever, it's just, or how, as far as society is concerned, it's just not the case. Anyway, I'm just kind of checking in, doing sort of like a one take heart to heart kind of with this camera in this room alone. I just wonder what it sounds like to you guys. I mean, I don't know if you're interested in commenting on this and letting me know, like, from an outside perspective, you know, am I getting like what I deserve? Should I be feeling more bad? Are there things that I'm overlooking? Am I not being fair? Am I being selfish in the way I'm analyzing this? I just it's just the way I feel, and I've really explored this in myself, and I really can't find any feelings of like, you know, what I should be thinking about, like this time where I should be like, oh, I need to reform. It's good that I'm building my life again, and I'm getting back on my feet in a positive way, and sort of building this new life for myself, which is exciting. And and you know, so I'm excited to go do all these things and be in the world again. And so sometimes it just gets a little depressing to have to be stuck. But like I said, I struggle with the discipline, so this is a good period to try to hone that in. So I'm really kind of focusing on that, like honing in my discipline, honing in things that I want to establish in my routine, that regardless of where I am or what I'm doing, I can still maintain things that are important to me. And I haven't got that down yet, so I'm glad that I have this time still to do that. Okay, I want to start doing some shout outs too, because there's some people that I should mention, just thanking for watching this stuff. And I was thinking of doing 1 or 2 people a week. The first person who comes to mind is Jim. I don't know if you're watching this right now, not Jim, Jem. She is somebody who's been watching since the beginning, always commenting, always engaged, and like probably the first person who was watching these all the time, among just a very few who just started watching right away. And don't worry, I haven't forgot about the rest of you who've been watching all the time, and I'm going to get to you guys. But today, Jim, thank you so much for being a friend, especially after the how we met and like what our relationship started. Like one of the most embarrassing things ever to me in my life, and one thing I do feel terrible about. This is just a person who's just been so kind and sweet to me after that, and it helped me so much, just helped me move through my drug addiction guilt stuff. And so I really just appreciate you so much, and I hope you're doing well. So shout out to Jim. Thank you for just being awesome. Cool. The other thing I want to talk about is the song of the week. So the last video that you saw that I posted, I had made that before the video where I said, should I keep doing the song of the week? And so this is the next video that I've made since I asked that question, and the response was crazy. I was not expecting that at all. A bunch of people texted me personally and then commented on the video and said, "Keep doing the song of the week. You have to keep doing the song of the week." So we're keeping the song of the week, and so that's awesome. This week the song is very clear to me. It's been in my head all week. It's a song I've loved for a long time, and it just came up again recently because I was watching a movie and the end credits rolled with this artist, so with a song from her, and then I just started listening to her again. And the song is "Summer in the City" by Regina Spektor. I love it. It's just one of my favorite things. Regina is so cool. She is so sensitive and just has like kind of like Jeff Buckley, this like sensitivity, just such this like just I don't want to say fragile, just this just like beautiful sensitivity with so much power and skill and style. She's phenomenal. If you've never listened to Regina Spektor, she's definitely worth getting into. Super cool. I've seen her live before in Seattle. I saw her live this one time, and she was phenomenal. She's just an amazing artist. And "Summer in the City" is the song of the week. So, yeah, God, I love it. And the castrated ones stand in a corner smoking. They wanna feel the bulges in their pants start to rise. Oh, I love that. Definitely listen to that song. Okay, thank you. Hopefully this wasn't super long. I feel like it's gonna be super long. Even though I tried to make it short. So I can talk, man. I can talk. And I repeat myself a lot. And I just say the same thing over and over. So I hope that I didn't ramble on too long. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all. And I really appreciate all the support that I get from so many of you. It's really helpful. It's very, very helpful. And it does not go unappreciated. So peace out. I'll see you. I'll see you next week. Okay. So bye bye.